We've done a few different stories on civil asset forfeiture, and that's the practice that law enforcement uses to seize the belongings of people they suspect are involved in crimes. You know, they can seize their money, their assets, whatever that they have. And the people do not have to be charged with the crime. They don't have to be convicted with the crime. And oftentimes they never get their belongings back. The law enforcement just keeps it. And in a lot of states, they can keep all of it. In a lot of states, they keep 100% of it. Law enforcement gets everything. They keep everything. And it's just so crazy that, I mean, you can't even get it back if you were not even charged
or convicted.
I mean, it's just, it's
mind blowing.
Mind blowing, right? So it's a big problem it's all across the country. It's in every state. So this time we saw an article on Raw Story, and it hits close to home. Yeah, so let me read you a little piece of that. South Carolina news station WYFF4 reports that police departments in the state have raked in an estimated $22.7 million in property seizures over the last 5 years alone.
Way to go, South Carolina. Yeah, it represent
5 years.
Oh.
5 years, they've taken in over $22 million.
Boy, they seem to be spending a lot of time and energy and effort collecting revenue,
right?
Rather than focusing on, fighting actual crime. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's astounding. I mean, that.
And I think it was some months ago we kind of did a similar story.
Yeah,
it wasn't focused on South Carolina, our state.
It was Oklahoma.
It was in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
and they calculated the numbers nationally, and the amount that law enforcement has seized through civil asset forfeiture exceeds the amount that criminals have stolen, as far as monetarily. I'm like, what?
So who's the thieves?
It was like, who's the thieves? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we could go through stories after stories after stories that show the scenarios involved. You know what I'm saying? Right. Around civil asset forfeiture that don't make any sense.
This estimate earned South Carolina a D- grade from the Institute for Justice, a group that advocates against abuse of the civil forfeiture system. So a D- on civil forfeiture law.
Essentially, they're saying that these mugs are
abusing the system, man.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, simply put, abusing the system, man, and just taking in all this cash and property that does not belong to them, and like you
without having a just cause,
man. And even if they do have a just cause, if the people are not charged, if they're not convicted, why are you still hanging on to it?
And the funny thing is, it's like, and most likely that's going to affect who? People who don't have a lot, poor people. So you kind of seize their property and their money. And in the case of Oklahoma that you mentioned, it was prepaid cards.
Yes, man.
So I was like thinking, I'm like, dang. So then they might not have anything to fight their case.
So, but at least South Carolina isn't special. At least, we're not special. Okay, like I said, this is something that affects all the states, and actually, most of the states here in America have a D rating from the Institute for Justice.
Well, I mean, are you surprised?
No.
I mean, what kind of activity would you think that civil asset forfeiture would encourage in the first place? I mean, it's not that.
Yeah. It's the logical conclusion to draw, right?
Yeah. We can seize everything. All we got to do is make up probable cause.
Yeah.
Oh, they committed a crime. Take it. Run them jewels.
Like I said,
you know what I'm saying?
Most law enforcement, I guess most of the law enforcement in these states can take 100% of it. 100% of it.
That's crazy.
100% of it.
That's crazy.
So there's only one state that got an A rating, and they got an A- rating. That was New Mexico. There were two states, Massachusetts and North Dakota, that got F ratings. So I mean, their civil asset forfeiture laws suck. I mean, like, they didn't even get D's, they got F's. I mean, that's bad. And so just to give you an example, I mean, like, if anybody watching has not really heard of civil asset forfeiture and this is new to you, let me give you some examples of what it has done. With civil forfeiture, not only can people lose their property without ever being charged with or convicted of a crime, they can also lose their property when someone else allegedly uses it in the commission of a crime. For example, police in Arizona arrested a man for stealing auto parts and seized the truck he had put them on. The truck was forfeited, even though it belonged to the man's mother, who had done nothing wrong. A New Jersey woman lost her car after her son used it without her knowledge or consent while selling marijuana. It took 2 years of litigation to win it back. And a Michigan woman saw the car she co-owned with her husband forfeited after he was caught soliciting a prostitute in it, a crime she neither knew about nor consented to.
What does these cars have to do with the crime? How, I don't understand that. It's like, specifically these situations that all involve vehicles. Like, I'm trying to figure out the rationale and logic behind, oh, he committed a crime, take his car. Like, I don't get that.
That's theft. That's theft.
You're just essentially trying to use a reason to take somebody's stuff. You did something wrong. Okay, we're gonna take some item. We're gonna take some item away from you. Like, there was another case that I heard about where I guess a guy was living at home, living in his parents' house, and he had possession of drugs, and they searched the house.
Right.
It wasn't his house, it was his parents' house, and they found drugs, and they were trying to claim that he was using the house to smuggle drugs, but they had no evidence of it. But they just said, well, we just think he's using the house to smuggle drugs. They're trying to seize the house. It's not even his parents.
That's just crazy, though.
You can't tell me they're doing this with a rational mind.
No.
You can't tell me they're doing this with having, law and order in mind. You know what I'm saying?
Like if I robbed a bank, right? And before I got caught, I purchased a home with those proceeds, right? With the money I stole. It would make sense that you seize the house.
That would make sense.
It would make sense.
That would make sense.
But I mean, a husband is doing some crazy stuff, being unfaithful to his wife, soliciting a prostitute, and they take the car?
Maybe they could seize the gas that was used in the commission of crime. Maybe they could seize the gas.
I mean, they shouldn't be able to take the money in his wallet. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they take the car, why not take the money in his wallet? Why not take his credit cards?
Why not take his clothes right there? Why not take, you know what I'm saying?
Like, if you can take his car,
why not take his house too? I mean, why not take everything? But like you said, they can take 100%.
100%, man. This is crazy. And in South Carolina, like we stated, in 5 years, it's over 22 million, right? Whew. Philadelphia? Not the state. The city, Philadelphia. Let's talk about Philadelphia.
Not Pennsylvania. But
not Pennsylvania.
But just Philly.
Just Philly. From 2002 to 2013, 69 million. 69 million they raked in, man. $69 million.
Well, then they should have more than enough money to pay for these police brutality lawsuits, right? You know what I'm saying? They're raising that much money. But it's interesting that to me this brings up a Fourth Amendment concern, and people are always talking about the Constitution,
right?
Always talking about the Constitution, and
right.
the violations of it, and
right.
They're very pure when it comes to the Constitution.
The constitutionalists.
Exactly. It seems as if just like
where's the emphasis on this?
Secure against unreasonable search and seizures, right?
Let me see. I haven't seen any politicians really talking about this.
Especially your uber patriotic.
Right. Ted Cruz?
No.
Ted Cruz is a self-proclaimed
actual
constitutionalist.
Constitutional violations going on.
Yeah.
It's like,
yep. Don't say anything. Well, because they can't talk about the cops. they can't talk bad about law enforcement. See, they have to protect them and defend
Oh, you mean
them
they want to be
at all costs.
politically correct?
Yeah, politically correct.
They want to be politically correct.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's
they kind of, castigate others for being politically correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So civil asset forfeiture? What's civil asset forfeiture?
Forfeiture, forfeiture.